What's everyone? It's Matt Mrozik, and this will be review number 2 tonight. And this is a big guy. I've actually had him for a week, maybe a week and a half. This guy's big. This is the Falcon and Red Wing on the chamber building. This was sculpted by Will Higgins. And then there's 3 portraits. The bald portraits, I'm going to pronounce his name completely wrong. Maipai Suppaudo. I hope I'm saying that right or close. He sculpted the bald head, and this was art directed by Bushi Collector. So if you know Bushi Collector, he does some pretty cool projects, and this was one of them. I contacted him about this a while ago, and he was all sold out. You know, all the stuff sells out really quick. And I was able to get a kit. So really cool sculpt, huge piece, came in 2 large boxes. Initially shipping was shipping was like $1,100, something crazy, because the box was going to be like 4 feet tall. But they split it into 2 boxes, which got the shipping down more manageable, around $350. And even with the 2 boxes, and I'm not criticizing, it was a little overpacked in my opinion. I think the boxes could have been a little bit smaller, but even with the really excellent packing job there was, I did get a little bit of breakage, one little tiny piece, and I'll show it to you. Now, as cool as this kit is, and as awesome as it is, I do have a few issues, and I'll point them out to you here in a second. But let's look at the sculpt first. It's absolutely beautiful. Now, this base does come apart in 2 pieces. I'm in my PJ shorts here, guys, so sorry about that. The base comes apart in 2 pieces. It's got the bottom here, and one of my little gripes, and I do this with a lot of kits, is that I wish for the kits they would have left these 2 pieces separate. The reliefs, like this one, looks like it should sit back further into the building, and it doesn't. I'm not sure if it's supposed to, or if that's how it's supposed to sit. Maybe that's how it's supposed to sit, but it looks to me like it should sit further back into the building. I would like to have that a separate piece, and this a separate piece. I actually really like the factory paint job. I'll probably try to mimic that. I think the colors they chose were excellent. And since this is actually after a real building, I'll use that as a reference too. But the sculpting is done beautifully. The reliefs on it, on the bottom of the base here, are really, really exquisite. Got the snakes coming out here, the wings, wreath full of fruit. And then you got the lion's head on this side. And then the back side's pretty simple, just brick. And then the top here, again, nice relief sculpt on here. Now this is casted hollow. And actually I've got something that rattles around inside, so something broke loose. It was rattling. So I'm not sure if this is filled with foam or anything, but it's hollow, I can tell. You can hear it, and it only keys in one way. There it goes, you can hear it. So something's rattling around there. It goes in this way. And it is a little loose. I'll probably, even though you really don't need it, I'll probably throw a pin in there just so it doesn't want to rotate like that. And then let's look at the other part of the building. It's just a simple brick detail that goes on the back here. So that's the base. Let's measure the base, because the base is huge by itself. You need some space for this guy. The base height is already at 17 inches. Okay, that's the height. The depth, you're at 12.5 inches. Okay, same with the width, it's a square. 12.5, okay? 13 inches tall, 12.5. Let's look at the sculpt of the hawk itself. Sorry, the falcon. Wrong bird. Beautifully done. Great muscle detail. I love the texture in the outfit. I love the detail here where the wings plug in, a nice kind of metal mechanical detail. Again, this is my only gripe with this part of the kit. As you can tell that the arms are molded separately as one piece, so the arms would come off. I personally, again, as a kit builder, would like to see those separate, so I could paint those separately and then put them onto the body. Since I have to look, I don't think this is supposed to go flesh tone. I think that's again, I'm not a comic guy, so I have to go back and look at reference photos. But it would have been nice to be able to paint these skin tones separately and then put it on. And also, this is a common factor from factories I'm finding out, that when they do put these pieces together, they're not doing a really good job of fitting them. We've got a pretty good gap. Down here I'll have to fill, same in here. And then also basically all around this whole piece here. So it looks like, I'm trying to see, it looks like maybe this arm. So like this part and these fingers are a piece, and then this part, this whole arm is a separate piece too. So it looks like they did a little bit of seam filling here, but they got to the bottom like, oh, no one's going to see that. We don't need to worry about that. Well, of course you do. You need to fill that whole seam, even though you're not going to really see it. It needs to be filled. So I'll have to take care of that. So, and there's a pretty good gap right here underneath the armpit too. So I don't know if you guys are seeing that right there. But other than that, done really, really well. On to my biggest gripe. I tear this kit apart just a little bit. Is the fit of him into the base. For right now, he does not peg down all the way. I've pushed very hard. He's been sitting in there for about a week, and he doesn't go down all the way. Not only that, this foot does not line up right here. It needs to come over about 1/4 of an inch. So I think what I have to do, because this doesn't line up here, either this key is way off or this molding is way off, because the legs look to be one piece, molded and casted in one piece. And I think you can see that. Yeah, you can see that pretty well. That, I'm going to come a little closer. Show that. So we're not lining up here, and we don't sit down all the way. So this could be one of two things. The reason it doesn't sit down could be that there's just a lot of primer on this, or that this key is too long. So the first thing I have to do is get him to sit down all the way, okay? So once I can get him down all the way in that key, then I have to see about lining up his feet. If that doesn't work, as far as, I'm getting back on this turntable a little better. If getting him seated all the way doesn't fix this issue, typically this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to shave this down completely flat. There's a magnet here, and there's a magnet in this foot, but you really don't need it because this key, it keys in so well, and they don't line up. So what I'll do, once I get him seated and it doesn't line up, because there's no way in hell, there's no way in hell I would get these legs to close up. I'd have to put like a huge clamp on them, try to heat the resin and get the bend, and that's way too much volume of resin to try to manipulate. I would destroy this joint. It would destroy the statue. Not even worth it. It would just cause so many issues. So basically what I'm going to do is get him to sit down first, see if that works. My guess is that even when he sits down all the way, he's not going to line up right here. He's completely off the statue right here by 1/8 of an inch or more. So he's got a ways to go down. So I got to fix that first, and then I'll probably shave this detail down, shave that detail down. And there's no reason to have this footprint here anyway. It wouldn't make sense that there's a raised part here for his foot, because this is stone. There would be nothing, unless there was like dirt or mud sculpted on the top of the statue, there would be no footprint there. He's not going to leave a footprint in stone, so it doesn't make sense. So I would just basically grind all those details down and fill it in and retexture those areas with the stone texture. So that's what I think I'm gonna have to do, because again, there's no way we get this to slide over and fit, and once that goes down, that's not gonna fix that issue. So basically I have to rekey it, grind that all down, retexture the top, and then I'll be happy. So that's like my biggest gripe of the whole kit is that right there. And you know, it's not a hard fix, but then again, it's not an easy fix. It's just it's a time-consuming fix. All right, so now I'm going to back way up. Sorry, because he's just, well, let me come in, sorry. I'm going to come in closer and show you the heads, because there's 3 of them, and they're all pretty cool. And this is the one spot I had a little breakage, which is weird because he was packed so well. I had this little tip break off, which I do have the piece over here. So done really nicely, done really well. Great definition in the face. That's the one that was sculpted by, this is the bald head that was sculpted by Maipai. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. So this is the extra head that was sculpted by him. And then here are the 2 other heads that were sculpted by Will Higgins. But both look really cool. Pretty much the same sculpt. This is just, he's got a snarl and a low goatee, which I really like. I kind of like his attitude in that one. Looks really good. While I'm here, I can show you Red Wing. Red Wing looks pretty cool. And I've got a little critique about Red Wing too, and someone else brought this up in one of their videos, but sculpt is beautiful. Love all the detail in the feathers. Casting wise, it's done extremely well. There's like the mold lines are not there. Those are all cleaned up. So far the only real issue is him fitting on the base. So that looks really good. And then I'll show you the wings once I get them on the body, because they're pretty simple, but they're still really beautiful. Okay, so let's back up here. Back way up to get them to fit. See if I can come up on my tripod a little bit. Let's see if I can get him all in frame, because he's a big guy. There we go. Okay, now I'll get him in there. Okay, so I'm just leave the heads on the base there. And I'm going to spin him around. Let me move the wings so I don't knock them off. The wings are very light. These feel like they're hollow casted also, or they've got some sort of filler in the resin to make it lighter. I know some casters will use what's called micro balloons, and that's not a bad thing. It just helps make the resin lighter. It does make it more acceptable to breaking though. So, hold on. Let's not have him topple over. I have him on a small turn base, which is not smart. Should have a bigger turntable. These peg in extremely well. They do want to slip out just a hair. So what I'm going to do for that fix, this one seems to want to go in. I think what I'm going to do is, again, it's like a rekey, and that sounds like a big deal, but it really isn't. I've done it before and I've shown how to do it. Basically, I'll just grind out the primer here. I'll slather this wing with petroleum jelly. I'll put a little filler in there, and then I'll slide it in there and get it in the spot I want. And then that filler will rekey it and keep it in the spot that I want. Because right now, it seems to want to pop out just a little bit. I think this one does too. Maybe not. It was earlier. And also, by the time there's paint and stuff on here, they'll stay in better. But I love how they flow over the building. It's really beautiful. Beautifully done. I just love the back profile. Just, that's just cool. I'm gonna put a head on him so it doesn't look headless. I actually like the snarl better, so I'm gonna put that one on. So there you go. Great back profile, man. Get that in silhouette, really cool. It's really weird. So there's a little sculpture detail here on the top. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. It looks like maybe it should be a smokestack. It's a little confusing to me of what this might be. So if you watch this, maybe you can clarify if this is supposed to be something, or it's just a detail on top of the brick, like maybe it's supposed to be mortar or something that's been kind of cracking off. Okay, so I'm gonna turn them here. It looks from the side. Again, I just love how the wings swoop and they just touch the building and they just kind of flow over the building. And then there's your front profile. Really cool. All right, now let's measure him without Red Wing, because with the Red Wing he'll be taller. So Falcon by himself is your typical, he's about 19.5 inches, so he's a big boy. On the base, to the top of the head, I think it's 32 inches. He's pushing 3 feet. I need to get like a straight edge, yeah, he's right at like 33 inches tall to the head. Now we put a Red Wing on there, he's gonna get taller. And this is my other little critique of the kit. I'm not sure if the pre-paints are like this, but Red Wing doesn't sit in here very well. He'll need to be rekeyed also. But again, it's not a big deal. If you're a kit builder, it's not that big of a deal because you know how to fix it. But if you get a pre-painted statue, right now his like claws don't sit on his back, so he wants to fall backwards, which doesn't make sense. He should sit flush. I'll come in a little closer and show that to you. Oops, sorry. So right here you can see that he should come like this, and that claw should go down more. So what I gotta do to fix that is, again, basically have to drill out the holes where he pegs into. Let me see if I can slide this guy over. I mean, he's heavy, but he's not like crazy heavy because the base is pretty hollow, I think. He's solid. So to fix the Red Wing, basically I need to kind of re-drill these holes. Again, slather him with petroleum jelly, put some filler in there, squeeze them in there, and just hold them in place while that filler dries. And then that makes more sense because he should be right about there, not sitting back. Because there's a detail sculpted where his claws are, and his claws are not touching that detail, so he wants to fall out when I spin it. So I just want to get a measurement with him on there. So I'll add a little height to him. So let me back out again. More shaky camera work. We'll just do this so we can kind of pan and stuff. All right, so this is the tallest point right there, the tip of the wing. And with that, you're looking at 35 inches. Yeah, I mean, you're right at almost 3 feet. Very, very impressive piece. This will be a piece that I paint and sell eventually. Not now, so don't ask me about it. This is like way down the line. I got so many projects right now. Again, it's something I just wanted the experience of painting. So kind of what my plan is, because right now I've got Wonderfest coming up in technically a week and a half. I took the next like 10 days off from work to finish this Gundam commission. But for next Wonderfest, basically what I'm going to do is any like personal projects that I paint for myself, I'll take the Wonderfest and then I'll sell them after Wonderfest, unless I need the money for something, which happens all the time. Here's that portrait. Just kind of straight on. I'll be called serious, but I like that portrait too. Looks good. Nice muscle definition in the sculpt. Really like it. And then the third head sculpted by the poor guy I don't know how to pronounce. But yeah, there you go, man. Another awesome piece. Very big, has a big presence. Reminiscent of the Beast as far as coolness factor. Again, really nice. I just have a few little gripes about the kit, and that's not the sculptor's fault. That's the factory's fault. Something with the way something was molded or casted or put together, that's all in the factory. So just a QC quality for the future projects for whoever's watching. Yeah, because again, if this was a painted statue, if this was a painted piece and I got it and it fit like this, I wouldn't be too happy about that. I expect, I mean, I have a huge gripe about this, him not even standing on the base. That'd be a huge no-no in my book. So if anyone watches this and you have the painted piece, let me know if you have that same issue, because I will be fixing it on this. And if you have the painted piece, it can be fixed, but it's a bit of work and a bit of repainting. So there you go. Falcon and Red Wing. Art directed by Bushi Collector. Sculpted by Will Higgins. Cool piece. As always, thanks for watching. It's Matt Mrozik. We'll catch you guys next time. Bye.